All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Adam. I'm taking you on a tour of the progress I've made on the new place. Um, we'll just do a little walkthrough. I'm coming along. I'm working from the front to the back, basically. I got a couple of dirty dishes to wash. That'll happen later today. I did get this countertop cleaned. There was some magic marker stains on it from the people that did some of the work here. I do have to clean some dust off. I did get a little dust. I hung up a paper towel holder. I love this thing. I do not like messing around when I put on a paper towel and change paper towel rolls. That's toilet paper rolls and paper towels. That's all I want to do. Slide on, slide off. I don't want to mess around with unscrewing things and all that kind of stuff. So I did see, this is one creative use of, they left the holes in the sink. They didn't put plugs in them for the accessory holes on the sink. So I was like, oh, that fits. Okay, I can put all my scrub brushes there for now. And I got the little bottle brush straw hanging up there, fly swatter, small little things like that. I'm gonna get something to mount right there that I can mount mop, broom, those kinds of things, dust thing, whatever you want to call it. All that stuff's going to happen. I got a washing machine coming on Sunday. The bicycle rack is coming tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll be at work. It'll be my first test of whether FedEx can figure out how to deliver something to me without some bullshit. It should be all right. You can see out the thing there. There's a gate when you come onto the property. It's hit or miss whether that thing's open or closed, but it's never really locked. And I made sure to put in the delivery instructions for FedEx and Amazon to, just come through the gate, told them which house it is, etc. It shouldn't be a problem. This area here, this what's going to be the bike workshop area, is gonna that's probably the last thing I'm gonna finish when it comes to setting up my space. But you can see I got my office. I had to do the office today. I had no choice because I want to do some things. I got to work on a job that I'm getting paid for, and I needed the two monitors to make that job easier. And so I had to buckle down today and get it done. I wasn't looking forward to it, mainly because it's a little bit of a hassle. It's a little bit of a hassle, that's all. And it's not real easy to set that up. I want to be neat and tidy with all the wires and cables and stuff as much as possible so that they don't become a bird's nest. But it took a minute to figure that out and get it to be neat and tidy and clean. So it's good enough for now. It might evolve into something better later on down the road, but I'm good to go. I can get my work done now. But down the road, I may make some changes, adjustments, things like that. I can flip this up out of the way, so most of the time it's just going to be wide open space. But I'm happy. I can cook. This whole cabinet down here has nothing in it except a cast iron pan. So I have plenty of room for cooking equipment in there. I want to get a rice cooker with a steamer. It's about $20. So I can cook rice with some steamed vegetables at the same time I'm cooking over here. I'm just going to keep evolving. I don't have a lot to cook with, but I can cook a lot right now. I don't have any baking pans, so I'm going to order a set of baking pans on Amazon. I've got a couple picked out. I only need two. I'm going to need a casserole dish or a few of those things. And just this cabinet down here will be good enough to put all kinds of stuff like that in. But, I've already blown through some money. I think I told you guys I spent around $400 of the $2,000 that I think I need to spend to get this place perfect. But I forgot about the washing machine, which was a little bit more. And I'll take you on the tour They had one for 140 and one for 170, and the one for 170 could hold a lot more clothes. And so I opted, kind of stupidly, to get the bigger one because it was only $30 more. So obviously you can see in here I got a lot to go. I found out these covers for the outlets. There's another one over there. They're covering outlets that are already existing in there. There's outlets in there that's covering up. I don't know if they're active, so I got to I'm just going to get a tester pen. You get these little pens with a little nub on it. You can stick it in an outlet or you can touch it to a wire. It'll tell you if the current is active or not. And so if there's a hot wire, if those outlets have a hot wire, I'm just going to get outlets and covers and put myself some outlets in there so that I can have a TV and some things going on here. I've got 3 empty storage tubs right there. 2 full storage tubs and 4 empty ones on top. The 4 on top are empty. I got these 2 here, they got stuff in them. But you can see I've got a lot of space on these shelves I haven't tapped into yet. This big coffin box here is going to hold all of my empty bags. That's why I own it. I'm going to lift up that bottom shelf on this rack, slide that thing underneath, respace these shelves. That's why I haven't really done anything with this shelf yet, because that's going to take a few minutes. It's going to be a little bit of a pain. Probably want to set aside an hour for that. Whether it takes that long or not, I don't know. But what's going on over here? Sounds like my Mac's getting hot. Might want to kick up the AC a notch. It gets really hot in here. Put it on turbo. Let that thing blast some cold air up in here. But it's not too bad in here. It just, during the day when the sun's in the right spot, it heats right up. So really what I need to do is get myself some curtains, proper curtains, especially for this middle room. This middle room, there's like the cold air doesn't really come through this door. They're fighting with each other. So I need curtains on these windows. These windows look like shit anyway, but I would like to get some plants in here, probably lower light plants in here, because I feel like this room, I'm probably going to get some light curtains to put over the front windows so that light comes in, but so that people walking around out front can't just look in at me. But I don't really care about privacy in this room. In this kitchen window, I'll probably get some sort of, I'll do something, but it's not going to be the same as what I'm doing in the next room. I've got curtains picked out for this room here that'll match everything. Blackout curtains, but the curtain rods that I'm going to use will stick out from the window a little bit, so there will be some light coming in, but it'll make a big difference in the temperature in here when I do that. This window here, I'm probably, in the bathroom, I'm just going to probably get a curtain that comes down to about here where my hand is, and just like something sheer so that light still comes through. But the washing machine the portable washing machine that I can put in the bathtub that still needs to be fully cleaned, that was supposed to sit right here in the space between the water heater and the sink. And I wish I had measured out the dimensions beforehand, because I would have gone with the smaller washing machine, because there's about 2 inches. The washing machine's about 2 inches too wide to fit in the space here that I want it to go in. When it's not being used and I need to put it away and get it out of the way, that's where it's going to be. And there is a possibility that I could potentially just have it there permanently and run a drain hose to the toilet and just fill it up from the sink. But for now, I'm going to put it in the bathtub whenever I want to use it. So I have to move the water heater a little bit. But the nice thing about the water heater in that respect is all the piping is PEX and flexible hose. And there's a drip pan down here. And they're going to come in here over, I don't know, at some point in the next several days, because there's a slight leak at the drain hose down here. And so they're going to have to drain this water tank. And the only thing that would keep me from moving it is they just put this thing in. So these gaps have to be filled in, because that's a good place for critters to find their way in. But this drain here that's attached to this drip pan, this overflow drain, is the only thing that would make it difficult to move this water heater a little bit. But all I need to do is get like 2 to 3 inches. I just need to move this water heater 2 to 3 inches to the right. And there is enough room in the back. There's enough room. I can make it happen. Especially if they drain it and get all the water out of it. I can be like, let's move this thing a little bit so that I can fit my little washing machine there. And it'll fit perfectly. It'll probably have, I would need like an inch or two on each side maybe to be able to grab the handles and pull it out when I want to use it. But that is the perfect space. If I hadn't been in such a hurry, the smaller one would fit perfect in that space as is without having to move the water heater at all. But maybe I could slide the water heater over about an inch or two just to make a little bit more room in there. But that was a disappointment when I realized, but if I can make it work with the washing machine I bought, then I'm going to have a better situation for myself, because of the fact that I'll be able to wash more clothes at one time. Right here, this is the race. This is my bag of dirty clothes. I've been kind of scumming it the last few days because I don't have to go anywhere or do anything. So I'm changing my underwear, but I'm wearing the same shorts. I'm wearing a t-shirt till I can't stand it anymore. And just kind of like conserving the laundry as much as I can, stretch that out, because this washing machine's going to come on Sunday, and then it's going to take me a minute to figure out how to set it up and use it, and have to pull it out of the box and everything that goes with it. And then I'm not getting the dryer just yet because it's a couple $100 for the portable dryer. But the dryer is going to go right where that black bag is. It'll fit perfect in this space. It'll fit right to the right of that power outlet. I can plug it in right there. It'll stick out a little bit less far than this table does, and I'll still have plenty of room to get in and out this door, and it won't interrupt the flow of the space. So that's where I'm going to put the dryer when I get it, but I'm in no hurry to get that. Right now, I'm just going to take paracord and string it from that TV stand through some of the things around some of these shelving units, and just string paracord around the room and hang stuff on paracord to dry. And the shower curtain rod, just to get things, moving. Just get it started, get the party started. So I can do my laundry without having to ever go to a laundromat. I mean, for crying out loud, I can hang clothes on my bicycle. I can hang a bunch of clothes on the top tube of both bicycles. Pretty much anywhere that I can hang clothes to dry, I'll do it until I get a dryer. I could run a clothesline outside. I just don't know where to. I probably have a pole, and using a couple of guy wires, I can probably put a vertical post somewhere outside, a camping piece of, like a tent pole of some kind that I probably have in a box. One of these boxes is nothing but camping gear. I probably have a collapsible tent pole of some kind, and I can attach 2 guide wires to that with some tent stakes and stake that into the ground and run a paracord from the pole to the house. and I would probably be able to easily put a bunch of clothes on a line, and then when I'm done drying my clothes, just put everything away and just keep that like as a kit put together. I don't really know. Let's take a look outside and see how things are today. Oh, it's hot today. Because I do want to see something over here, but this is generally like a yard. When I get a car, I can park 2 cars here. According to the lease, I'm allowed to park 2 cars. This dude's pretty laid back too. But here's where all the water's coming into the place from down here. And where's that drain, that overflow drain? I want to see that water heater with the overflow drain. It's right there. Okay. That's real simple. Yeah, I'm not even worried about that. So I can position that water heater exactly how I want it. So I'm glad. But this is what you got in the back here of the bathroom, where that back window looks out to a neighbor's yard and stuff like that. That looks like a real nice house back there that I can see through the gap. But this is like, from what I understand, this is basically a little area of this neighborhood where all the land is unrestricted. And you can basically just build whatever you want here. And so there's multiple people who have bought parcels of land here, and they just build a bunch of houses on it. Multiple houses on the same piece of land. And so, but yeah, whenever I get to the point where I feel like I want to hang outside, maybe I'll get some sort of easy up canopy or something and maybe permanently set it up. But the sun will kill that. The sun will completely destroy that in a short amount of time. So I don't know. There's things you can do with tarps and whatnot. I'm really good at setting things up like that are going to be pretty safe from wind. But I could easily attach something to the side of the house with tarps and poles and things like that, and make a shaded area to chill under, and have be able to take that little picnic table out or whatever, have a little cookout, set up something out there that's not permanent, but that's not going to be so flimsy that a gust of wind's going to knock it down. Tarps, poles, ropes, things like that. You can do a lot with very little. Easy up canopy that you anchor to the house better. There's all kinds of little things I can do to set up a little place to chill outside. The only drawback is you don't want to do something too expensive if you're going to leave it up all summer, because of the fact that the sun itself will destroy it. The sun will pretty much put the kibosh on anything that you leave sitting out in the sun day after day after day like that. Is just going to completely... You're going to want to use a tarp that's easy to replace. But it can be done. It can be done easily. Couple of anchor points on the house under the tin roof, and then angle it downward, and then stake it down with 2 vertical poles and a bunch of guy wires. What do you call it? Paracord and some significant stakes and things like that. And you can use, there's different clips that you can use to put tension on the wire or you just tie certain knots that only allow tension to be put on in one direction, and then they lock in the other direction. I don't know the name of the knots, but I know how to do it. There's different ways to do all this stuff. And you can make something. I set up a canopy. I set up a ghetto rigged outdoor canopy system at someone's place a couple of years back. And because they were having a hard time, and the whole thing just kept falling down and everybody was getting wet, and I'm like, all right, just amateur hours over, let the fucking pro come in and do this. And so I basically, with wood that I found on the property, tree branches, paracord, stakes. I made stakes out of wood, just took a knife and sharpened points on wooden stakes and drove them into the ground. Basically, I just created an outdoor canopy system. And after we left, they got a big storm within the next month or two, and they said everything held up and nothing collapsed. They said that they were expecting to go outside after the storm and see the whole thing blown apart and all over the yard, and it was still there, like nothing happened. It had a support post in the middle from a tree branch that I cut to a certain length. And then I dug a hole in the ground and buried part of it in the ground, and then put that in the middle of a tarp. And then I spread out the tarp and basically created 4 support posts. They had an easy up canopy that was all broken and falling apart. So I took the vertical posts from that and cut them away from the rest of the mangled mess of the former canopy, and used those posts to support the corners of the tarp. And then I anchored part of it to a permanent structure on the property, and I made it work. And we used it the whole time we were hanging out there. We never had a problem with it once I got it up and tight. And like I said, they had a major storm come ripping through there, and they were expecting to go outside and see it blown all over the yard, and everything was fine. It didn't break. They may have had to tighten up a couple of guy wires, but they were set up in such a way that you could just slide the knot and tighten things up. And the knot would lock in the opposite direction. You might have to put a couple of stakes back in the ground or something like that, but it was fine. So I can do that here outside where you were looking, and definitely not have any major issues. And I could angle the angle of the tarps and everything so that when it rains and the water comes flying off the roof, it will land on the tarp and just slide down the tarp and drop off the other end of the tarp. I've gotten really good at making shelter from the rain with almost nothing. As long as you've got something to anchor it to and get it up off the ground. Even if all you have is if all I have is paracord and tarps, I'll make something that works, and it'll be amazing, and it will hold up pretty much the whole time you're camping. Give me a few bungee cords, give me some extra doodads, some collapsible poles, whatever. I'll make it work. But an easy up canopy is great too, because those you can set up. You get a 15 by 15 foot easy up canopy and have that thing up and draping over you in about 2 minutes. And those things can be really nice, but a good gust of wind, a good gust of wind can come and just knock one of those to the ground if they're not anchored properly. So I don't know, the outdoor, this area is the one that excites me the most. I bookmarked a few more love seats on Facebook Marketplace. I think that, you got to be careful. I'm only going to go to a nice rich neighborhood like the Woodlands or something like that to get a love seat, because you don't want to go get a couch from the ghetto and then bring it back and find out you got bed bugs all over your house. So you got to be careful when you're buying used stuff like that. But if you go to the Woodlands and to some rich neighborhoods and get a couch from someone who's rich, and someone who's wealthy, and getting rid of stuff that they don't want, you'll be in better shape, and you'll much less risky in terms of potential for bed bugs and things like that. I'm not buying a used bed, that's for shizzle, no way. But an ottoman and a love seat and an ottoman, I could, if it's in good shape. There was one listed. There was one that would be $1,500 to buy new. Someone's selling it almost brand new for $500, and it's like a leather and wood. It's a really high end piece of furniture. and it's got a footstool and the love seat combo. I forget the name of the designer, but it's a high-end piece. I don't think I'm going to go to that level. I don't have it in my budget to go to that level. But it's a solid piece of furniture that you're going to keep. And if I move, I can sell it for what I pay for it with no problem. I would be able to recover the money when I leave. It's just, I would just have to have enough time before I leave to sell it. Before, I would have to make sure that I get it up and listed and give myself enough time to sell it before leaving. Put it up at a price like $600 and say, or best offer, needs to go now. Make it urgent and see if somebody wants to haggle me down to 500, and then I'll just break even on it and leave, and or I'll take it with me, whatever. But this room's going to take a minute, and this little workshop area here, that's going to be a minute before I get around to that. Definitely going to be at least a month, probably for both. But I'm really happy to have a workspace, really nice workspace, pretty much back to where it was before. I got to find my mouse, and I'm complete. And I got a place to cook, and I got my dishes. I'm gonna get some drying mats. Just make a nice. I don't have a lot of prep space for cooking meals and stuff, but it's enough. That prep space right there is the same space I had in my entire cooking area in the old kitchen at the tiny house. So cutting up meats and prepping food, and just for me and maybe one other person, that's plenty of space. Good oven works great. Stovetop I think is fine. Everything's good there. There's little things that I don't like about this place. Craftsmanship wise, I think they could have done a better job on certain things, but the windows could be nicer. If I bought a prefab, but this gives me ideas when I walk around this place. It gives me ideas of what I would do in the situation where I want to build my own cabin in the woods, or get a prefabricated building dropped off on a piece of land and then do something with it. It would have to be at least this big. 10 foot by 20 foot space like that shithole I was living in before. It's not enough. And I definitely know that if I do this in the future, build something like that for, an off, this will be after this is way down the road. But if things improve in life and that's the direction I'm going to get to go, for the homestead, off-grid, whatever the fuck life, cooking will be on one corner of the unit, pooping will be all the way in the other side of the unit. For sure. I'm never gonna shit where I eat ever again, if I can help it. I did enough of that in prison, and then I lived in that tiny house shithole and had to poop right next to where I cook my food. That was bad. I couldn't stand that. But it's not like I didn't know what I was moving into before I moved into it. It served a purpose for a couple of months. But this is so much better. Oh, my whole psyche has completely transformed in less than a week since I moved in here, because I'm just feeling I just feel so much better. And every time I get this place a little bit nicer, each day I get a little project done, a couple of little projects, get things put away, figure a few new things out, whatever. I think I'm gonna go to church on Sunday. I found a decent looking church. There's a few churches within walking distance. There's a church that's about a mile away, maybe 0.8 miles from here. So Sunday, and they've got service at 11. So Sunday, I'm thinking about getting up and going to church and see how that goes, and see if that's a good place to go. So things are just coming together. Yeah, I lost out on a $120K per year job that was in my hands and bona fide and certified and sanctified and everything else under the sun. All the contracts were prepared and all I needed to do was sign. And then there was one line, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing a background check. But, no big deal. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. Just like when you lose on The Price is Right. I had the Showcase Showdown in my fucking hand, and I went $1 over. And that was it. Over. So we'll see how things go. But I just figured I'd give you a little tour, and we'll talk in a minute. Peace. What's going on, everybody? This is just a test of now that I have my desk set up the way that it was in my old place. Somebody's driving by, no biggie. This is my backdrop. Like, this is all I got. It's either gonna be this side of the kitchen, or if I go over here, you can see a fridge with some junk back there that I need to deal with, whatever. If I want to sit in front of my computer where I can look at some notes and whatnot and still look over and talk to you guys on camera, this is it. This is the backdrop. The thing I don't like the most is that window right there. No matter what I do with the lighting in here, I can crank that up a little bit. There's some other, I can turn on other lights. Let's see, I can turn on these, I can turn on this. There's things I can do, but that window right there behind me the light is going to be completely unbalanced. Like, I would like to have something somewhat professional. If I'm gonna take this a little more seriously. But right now, this is it. This is the setup. This is what I got. This is how it fits. I'm not gonna, I would love to have the fake bookshelf behind me with all the knickknacks and the, the 86 Donald Trump, whatever, like Gretchen Whitmer had on Meet the Press, or, just maybe a little fuck Joe FJB. Maybe instead of mine being 8645, I would have little blocks that children play with and it says FJB, or something like that. And with the books that I've never read and a bunch of fake plants, whatever, I could just get a backdrop I could just put a backdrop behind me on a frame with a fake thing that hangs down. But I mean, do I really want to go through all that just to shoot a YouTube video? I doubt it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do just yet. Curtain on that window would help. Keeping things nice and tidy and whatnot would help. But that's the drawback of in my Amish house out in Pennsylvania, I had a dedicated space for shooting videos like this. A specific spot that was made for that purpose. And it was multi-purpose. It was a whiteboard. If I had to have a meeting at my house for some reason, or if I had to do a video chat with a whiteboard behind me or something, like that was possible. Like there was multiple uses for that space. I could do photography, like product photography in that space, because I had a table, studio lights around it. I could put a product on the table, and I could rig a camera set up so that I could shoot product photos and things like that. I had, it was a multi-purpose space, but mostly set up for me to shoot videos. And then I never really used it. Every time I would start to do something with it and start to try and figure out what I want to do, I would just kind of give up on it. And because I'm a perfectionist, and what really got me in the spirit, if you will, of shooting videos on YouTube regularly and not giving a shit about the quality and the perfectionism and the video production, and my hair, I didn't do anything with that today. Busy. I woke up, haven't taken a shower, I just got to it. I had a coffee, Started setting up my office space. I had to get it done today. No choice. I had to do it. I've got a bicycle. I've got loose spokes on the Red Rocket. I've got to tune that up. Put a couple of little dabs of blue Loctite on the spoke nipples and spin the wheel and see if I can get the spoke tension to stay put. It's not a big deal. I think it's just road vibrations, loosened a couple of spokes up. It's rideable. It's not a big deal, but I don't want to ride around with spokes that are, I don't want to have spokes breaking the next time I ride that bike. I don't even have proper spokes to replace on that wheel. That's another thing. It's always something. There's always, as a prepper, you're always thinking about the next thing that can go wrong and whatnot. But anyhow, I don't know. The only thing I can think of doing in here for a backdrop of some kind would be one of those folding Chinese screens or whatever. And I would have to figure out, okay, the angle from the camera, whatever tripod I'm going to use. I don't know. I mean, I could get a little bit higher tripod, but I don't even know how I'm going to do, like, any of this stuff is going to fit. I don't know. I'm using a Gorilla Grip tripod set on the desk right now, holding a phone in a cradle. There are other ways I could figure this out. I could get a clamp of some. There's lots of different options I could explore for this. I could mount a phone above my screens. I've got the 2 screens that you saw on the tour. I could put another mount on the wall above the second monitor that I use just to clamp the phone into. This phone mount, or this monitor mount that is on the wall right now, it's possible to hold a phone in that thing. I am not going to take this. I had to fiddle with the position of that monitor way too much. I'm too much of a OCD to be. I don't want to touch that, but I could put another clamp above it that I just put my phone in. That could actually be handy for when I want to watch YouTube videos. I could just put a YouTube video up on that screen and watch while I have the other 2 screens available. I mean, I don't know. There's lots of different things I could do. Will I? I don't know. It's just going to evolve. But yeah, I could mount a phone a little bit higher up, put my notes on the screen right below it, have the downward angle, like the girls, the big girl on Tinder angle coming down instead of looking at my chicken gobbler, my turkey neck. It would look a little bit better. It'd be more like this, a little bit more, So, I don't know. I've got some ideas, but I don't know. I've got other cameras I could try. I could set a tripod over here. I could set a tripod right here. I don't know, man. There's so many things I could do with what I already have. That amount like I use for that monitor, it's dirt cheap. I could order another one of those. It took 5 minutes to install that today. It took a while to get my whole office set up, but to measure out where I wanted to put the monitor and mount the thing to the wall was pretty easy. I could do the same thing with a phone. Just have a little mount that I just right there. The camera's right there, and then have some sort of backdrop behind me and kind of make it. It would be kind of nice if I had to do Zoom meetings for business purposes or a job interview or something like that. It's better to have something nicer in the background than a kitchen. It just kind of looks weird. Like, why are you sitting in your kitchen for this Zoom meeting? Nobody really cares that much about it, but I don't know. If I'm trying to be more professional over the time, it would make sense to, try and figure something out there and add it to my list or whatever. I do have a household shopping list Let me see. I think I still have the divider screen that I was thinking about buying for the tiny house to separate the bathroom area from the rest of the place. No, I don't even have that. I don't even have that bookmarked anymore. I think it just got to the point with that where I was like, you know what? Forget it. I don't need this. I think it was just, I don't need this anymore. Forget it. Lists. What else? What other photography? That's not. No. Yeah, I'll have to look and see, but I've got a bunch of different things bookmarked, but I'm not seeing the divider. And yeah, I'm not seeing any of that. But anyway, that's what I'm kind of wondering what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna have to shave. So I don't want to go into this job anymore looking like a scrub. Now that I got my new place, I got a shower work. Everything's everything's set up. It works now. It's all good to go. At some point tonight, I don't even think I'm gonna tune up the bicycle. I'm just gonna take the other bike and go tomorrow. Just chill, do a nice chill ride to work and back. I wish I got more done this week, but when I look around, I see happiness. I see tranquility. I see like things coming together. I'm in a good place. I'm in a much better place mentally. I watched today, I said I wasn't going to shoot any more videos today. I lied. I'm doing another one like this. While I was working on setting up my office space, I needed a reference of how my old office was set up at the old place. Especially like, I have a whole bunch of hard drives and I couldn't figure out which ones were which. And I'm like, I can't remember. I should have taken a photo before I took everything apart last week. But I was like, well, I've got all these videos from the tiny house series where I walk in the front door and everything's right there. So I watched a bunch of these videos, the intro part, where I walk into the tiny house, open the door, and kind of take you on a tour before I start talking to you. And I was able to freeze frame on a couple of videos, and it showed me exactly how everything was set up, which hard drives were where, and pretty much how everything was arranged before, so that I could set it up exactly the way it was, with a couple of small changes. And so now it made it easy. It made it easier for me to get it all plugged in. It was all plug and play. The hardest part about everything was organizing cords and cables and making sure they're wound up and velcroed, and just make sure that they're all tidy, because the last thing you want is a bird's nest of wires. So everything's just laid out properly and easy to work with, easy to manipulate. If I have to, everything's back to the way it was. It's not 100%, it's not perfect, but it's damn good. There's just a couple of small things that I need to figure out where I put my mouse so I can get my mouse back over here. Just small things like that. But now I'm sitting here shooting a video, and I only did this as like a test. I hit the record button and I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm like, yeah, this could be better. What could I do to make this better? I don't know. I'm just gonna sit here and talk to you while I look up like the rice paper room divider. That seems to be the one that would make the most sense They're like $80 for either a 4-panel or a 3-panel with some pattern on it. I mean, that could work. It may or may not look good. I don't know. And just something behind me that takes up the width of this, or whatever camera I'm using. I'm also like, like a wall-mounted camera in front of me that's more permanent, like maybe not a webcam, but something decent where I can just record on a hard drive directly instead of using the phone so much. And then I can use that for video conferencing and other things, because I do have, the built-in Mac camera is not horrible, but a dedicated webcam that has 1080p or 4K resolution would lend itself well to recording video directly and then get a decent mic that I can get a mic that there's multiple ways to have a microphone that's kind of out of the way and that I could use for this podcasting little video workstation kind of thing that I'm setting up here. I don't know. It all costs money no matter what you do. That one looks nice. But the room dividers, $120, $104, $70 for these rice paper folding room dividers. But then what am I going to do with it when I'm not using it for this purpose here? Like, it's kind of pointless. It's too much money to. I just don't know. I don't know what to. I don't care. Like, I personally, this backdrop is better than the last one I had. That garbage dump tiny house nonsense with the dilapidated ceiling and the spray foam and the pooper in the background and everything else. This beats that already. But when I look, I don't know. There's got to be some sort of creative solution for this that won't cost me. There are other room dividers that you can get, but $60 and it's a crappy one. That they're really terrible quality. They're just like black cloth on a frame. $60, or you go $80 and get one that looks nice. That's probably the cheapest, easiest solution. But then it becomes, like I said, what do I do with this thing when I'm not using it? Like, I don't have a purpose for this when it's not being used. There's really nothing to do with it except try and find a place to put it out of the way and just drag it out when I want to use it. Otherwise, it's just in the middle of the room. It's in the way. So and I don't want to do one of these fake backgrounds where it's like a fake blue screen like Zoom. Zoom has a button that you can hit that'll cut out your body and your head and your hair like a green screen, and you can put a fake picture behind you of a empty room or something, like a fancy apartment or a penthouse suite or something like that, or whatever you want for the background. But it just it's terrible. I don't want to do that either. Here's a large panel room divider, privacy screen that is. See, and the other thing is, these things look perfect in the photographs on Amazon. But then when you look at I guarantee you, yeah, exactly what I thought. When you go to the photos that the customers take, the thing's all wrinkled and folded because the sheet, the cloth sheet is going to be folded in a package. And then when you unfold it, it's gonna just be, you're gonna have to iron this thing or do something, and it just looks like shit compared to the photos and that the manufacturer puts. Yeah, these things look like trash. I wouldn't want that as my background at all. The fake Zoom background would be better. Yeah, no. So yeah, that looks like crap. So the room divider with the rice paper wooden frames with the rice paper and, you know, whatever, there's different designs. That's the best I can think of for now that would look decent. Just bing, bing, bing behind me, just something in the background. But it's, I don't know, I feel like I could do better and cheaper. So I'll think of something at some point. I may even just play around, look for some ideas. Okay, here we go. A room divider, no drilling, curtain rod wall divider, but then it's basically, okay, what is it? Does it come with curtains or you gotta buy your own curtains? Yeah, that's stupid too, because I don't want something that's gonna just take up room when I'm not using it and just be in the way. Something that mounts to the ceiling that I can just go zoop and pull down. Maybe looking into the pull down maps for the classrooms, or oh shit. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, $700. Okay, that one, okay. No, hell no. Oh, the pull down solar system. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Oh, here's the map I used to have hanging on my whiteboard, the exact same map. But I had a whiteboard with magnets on it. Now, there you go, maybe. A whiteboard with wheels, $110. And then I would need the magnets and the posters, and then I could just put a whiteboard behind me on wheels. And then put up whatever I want on the whiteboard to be a background. That's probably, money-wise, that's not good though. 200, but it's like $100 and up for a whiteboard on wheels. And then once again, where am I gonna put this thing when I'm not using it? There's nowhere in here to put it. There's nowhere that it would make sense to put a whiteboard on wheels when I'm not using it. So that's a good idea, but it doesn't. But this is part of the creative process. You come up with a bunch of ideas, you look, whether you write them all down and then process of elimination, eliminate the bad ones and end up with something good, or you're constantly poking and prodding and just like, ooh, what could you do there? What could you do there? If I got a TV, now they make TVs on stands now that the TV it's like a battery system. So you can plug the thing into the wall to charge it, but then you can unplug it and just like an iPad and then walk around with it, and it's on a stand, but it doesn't have to be plugged in for, until the battery dies. They make those. What if I got a big enough one of those to put behind me? But that's not cheap, but it would do the dual purpose it would serve a two purpose of being backdrop for the videos plus my TV that I watch when I'm watching TV. But those aren't cheap. That's not a cheap solution. And it may not work. I may try it out and be like, oh, that sucked. But you could put whatever you want on the video screen as the backdrop, a city view, whatever, and whatever you want. And so I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to sit here and think of things. Whether I do them or not is irrelevant. It's just fun to have a state of mind where I can, my creativity can start to come out again, instead of just feeling like I'm in permanent survival mode and just dreading even looking out the window of a tiny shithole shack that I'm living in. It was like, it felt like I was one step above a Slumdog Millionaire dirt shack with a 5-gallon bucket to take a dump in. It just, what's this? Mobile dry erase board. But it's not wide enough. It has a nice stand. I mean, I don't know. There's, I mean, there's definitely some options. Okay, $89 for a whiteboard, magnetic whiteboard on wheels that is kind of cheap. But it'll do the job, I'm sure. It's all it needs to do. 36 inch by 24. It's kind of, I don't know, it'd have to be right behind me, I don't know. But these are just it's just I'm a little tired, that's for sure. It's not even that late in the afternoon, but I'm kind of like Reddit. I'm laughing because an email just came at me. So I'm on Reddit, but not really. I signed up for an account because I was going back and forth with somebody about a software bug. And there's all these bicycling forums. So I'm not into the politics on Reddit because it's just a bunch of they, them, TGB, LGB, TCBY, QBERT, BCBG, plus to the third power, whatever the fuck these people call themselves, they, them, he, she, them, whatever, I don't know. Those people. But there's a category for cycling. And there was a bunch of people posting bicycle questions. And, basic repairs. And I'm like, I can answer that. Be a nice guy. Here's how you fix that. Here's how you fix that other thing. My posts are getting fucking censored when I'm telling people how to fix their fucking bicycles. Like, Reddit, what the fuck, man? Like, you can't even post about fixing a fucking bicycle without your post being censored by these fucking Nazi dimwits. So I tried to answer this guy like 3 times. I got censored because I posted a link to a product on Amazon. It wasn't even an affiliate link. It was just a straight link to a product. And Reddit was like, we flagged you as being a spammer. So I used a link shortener. Then I got censored for using a link shortener. Then I told the people, I'm like, I can't post the reply I want because Reddit keeps censoring me. Then I got censored for complaining about Reddit. Like, fuck off. I'm done. I'm not even gonna, whatever. I'm not gonna answer anybody's fucking questions on there anymore. You fucking transgender retards can figure out how to fix your own fucking bikes. I'm done. Fuck this shit. Can't even post a solution to fixing someone's bicycle who is asking about it. And I was just in the mood. I'm like, well, I can tell you how to do that. It's easy. No, and no. 3 strikes, I'm out. Fuck that. You're gonna censor people. They're censoring you for everything on that platform. It's it's fucking stupid, that platform. So sick of these they, them, fucking LGB, QBRT, TCBY, BCBG, whatever the fuck they are, plus to the 6th power. Sick of it. It's fucking idiots. I went to fucking art school in the mid-1990s, full of fucking gay people, especially the interior design crowd. Any man or male who told you he was an interior design student, that's gay as fuck. And there was a number of gay people in the graphic design and visual arts side. I knew a lot of gay people in art school. And this was back when, like, being gay in the mid-1990s, you couldn't just, like, walk down the street with your assless chaps or whatever. Hey, you might get the shit kicked out of you. This was back in the mid-90s. This was they used to have, like, gay bashing and shit on the news. Oh, a guy got the shit kicked out of him for being gay. You had to have some serious fucking balls to walk around gay back then. It was dangerous. It was dangerous to go around being openly gay. I had a gay boss, and he was, so in the gay relationships, most of the time one pretends to be like a girl and the other one's more like a boy. So my boss, I had a job at the school, I was a computer lab technician. My boss, he was he was like, I'm trying to think, he was gay as fuck. I mean, straight up, he was gay. No doubt about it. He was like, hey, like, he was professional, but he did not hide behind that fence at all. He was out of the closet, ta-da, right? We didn't give a fuck. He was a nice guy. I liked working with him. He was a cool dude. He was really cool to have as a boss. His boyfriend was the dude. His boyfriend was the man in the relationship. His boyfriend, like, my boss, your gaydar would be like, blah, 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 like lighting up the fucking screen, right? No, blah, blah. Gaydar is going fucking crazy when he's in the room. His boyfriend, on the other hand, his gaydar was more like, bing, bing, like a distant sonar contact from, 60, 70 miles away. You might be putting the gaydar to your ear and being like, I wonder what that, it does sound like it does sound a little bit gay, but I'm not quite sure. Let's mark this contact on the map and track its route and see what happens. Yeah, like, he wasn't quite, you wouldn't know off the bat. He wasn't like walking in the room being like, hey, right? But the other dude, he was, you see him, you're like, oh, that's gay right there. He's gay as fuck. But tons of people at the art school were gay. Nobody gave a shit. We all got along. You could make fun of people for being gay. You could make dick-sucking jokes to gay people at art school when I was there, and they would laugh, and it'd be like, they'd probably come up with some straight joke to make fun of you with. I don't know. We all got along. Nobody gave a shit about anything like that. Now it's like this big, like, they need to have a fucking trophy. Like, they need to go to some big award show every year to, like they need some sort of fucking award for being gay every year. And it's like, it's not even a risk. You're not even risking your safety to be gay anymore. Like, not in this country. They take over the whole fucking city, every city in America, for the big gay pride parade where they're riding giant dildos on floats down the fucking street and throwing dick-shaped lollipops to the children on the side of the road before they get dressed up and dragged to go read storybooks at the library to all of your fucking kids. That back in the 90s, you would have got the shit kicked out of you for that. So, and I'm not saying that that's right. I don't agree with beating the shit out of someone for being gay. I don't agree with that at all. But what I'm getting at is people were a lot more tolerant of each other back then in the 90s. You know, you could do what you want to do, and for the most part, people didn't get offended. This whole, like, everybody gets offended by everything culture didn't exist back then. You could pretty much say or do anything, and people would just brush it off, or they would turn around and say something back to you, and we all get along. We could all have a beer at the end of the day and laugh and have a good time. Now, fuck, you can't do anything. You can't say anything about anything anymore without risking your whole career, or you know, you might go to prison for 2 years for saying something mean on Twitter. You never know anymore. But circling back around to, you know, what am I going to do with this channel, with these videos? I don't know. Like, I'm looking for a backdrop now because I don't like this behind me, but I'm gonna have to think of something. I just, like, I got other things to spend my money on. Don't worry about that. Oh, yeah, that's the one I like the most, and of course it's not available. But it probably wouldn't look that good anyway. Needs to be more plain. So, yeah, like the foldable rice paper room dividers, probably the best way to go. It's probably the cheapest overall. But when I look at these, I'm like, once again, what do I do with this freaking thing? I see a place where I could put it when it's not in use and just kind of have it sitting there, and it wouldn't be in the way, and it would be like right there for me to grab when it's time to grab it and use it. And maybe I could use it. It's a business expense at that point because I'm using it for job interviews, Zoom calls, videos. You know, I'm using it for work, but it serves no other purpose. It serves no other purpose at all. I have no use for it, no place to put it or keep it other than to just, I don't know, not really, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But it's the creativity it's fun to sit here and brainstorm ideas on, you know, what are some things I can do. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it. It just means I'm thinking about it. And maybe if I go to Facebook Marketplace and look for room divider and see what, I'm sure somebody wants to get rid of something like that. 2 sets of room dividers for $80. Well, that's about the same price. Let's see. That one's kind of nice. That one's like got a fake bookshelf thing going on with it. But once again, like, where am I going to put this thing when I'm not using it? It looks cool. Why does it even fold up? Okay, I see how it is. It's like, yeah, but that's like, you'd have to, that's too much. It's too much effort. A vintage room divider, more curtain type things. So a hanging sheet backdrop, a photography backdrop with a frame around it. That's idea 1. A folding room divider is number 2. A whiteboard on wheels is number 3. A monitor, a TV screen, a video screen on a stand is idea number 4. So right while I'm talking to you, this is how the creative process works. There's no such thing as a bad idea. I'm shooting down my own ideas as I come up with them, but I have 4 ideas to explore. And so I might be able to come up with 10 more if I just sit around and think about it And another thing that happens is when you put these things in your conscious mind, tomorrow morning I'll be riding my bicycle to work and I'll be thinking about something completely different, won't be thinking about this at all. Boom, something will snap into my head. Oh, that's perfect. Yes. Photography backdrop. I mean, white backdrop background for photography, $18, $19. Does that include a frame? I don't know. Vintage backdrops, like the backdrop where you got your high school, your yearbook picture taken. The abstract gray background, $18. It's on a roll. Yeah, it's on a roll. I'm trying to think. It's on a roll, 7.7 feet by 5 feet. Do you get the frame with it? I highly doubt it. But yeah, I mean, they look great in the photographs, but then you've got to look at the product reviews and, oh, that looks like total dog shit. It looks like total dog shit. Because these things, they come folded. So I'd have to buy an iron and an ironing board, and then I would have to do that. They look like crap. So you would need a back. If they could ship it rolled. Yeah, all these things look like dog shit. You gotta iron these things, which it's not impossible, but you have to iron these things to get them to look nice. And then you want to roll it on a roll. Like if they could come shipped on a roll, maybe we're talking a little bit easier to deal with. There's a dark blue background. But once again, click on the reviews. Look at how crappy, oh, they look like shit. Yeah, they don't look good. They don't look good. They're folded up and they've got creases and yeah, but I mean, you can iron that out. Abstract professional photography backdrop. Pocket on top. Does this come with the fucking frame? That's what I don't know. 8 foot by 10 foot. That's way too fucking big. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, photography backdrop. That's another idea. If I didn't mention that already. They make a frame, they collapse down to almost nothing. It's a telescoping, 2 telescoping tripods basically with a bar going across, and then you hang the backdrop from the bar and let it fall down. And that would be pretty good in terms of portability and tucking it away when you're not using it, and it would probably take about 5 minutes to set up. I think the folding room divider would be easier to set up because I'd just have to pick it up, move it over here, and go like that, and it's done. The photography backdrop thing would take a few more minutes to set up and tear down, but it would be storable to the point where it just sits on a shelf and it's not in the way. So, I don't know. And it might be cheapest. That might be the cheapest way. Backdrop stand, 7 by 10 feet with clamps and sandbags and a carrying case, $35. And then the backdrop, $20. Here's a kit for $38.98 with a black a reversible black and white backdrop screen. And that one's a little bit more, that one actually looks, I might add that to the cart. If I was screen recording while I do this, you could look with me, but and they can deliver next day. I mean, that's actually not too expensive. What does it look like? Like, what does it actually look like? Psh, where's the customer photos? This is what you want. Doesn't look that. Product itself is nice. It's still quite wrinkled after attempting to wrinkle the product. However, the quality is good. A few threads popping out. My package came without clamps. The design is flawed. Yeah, it looks kind of shitty and cheap from what I can see. It's kind of wrinkled. It definitely looks shitty. It's like buying a shower curtain. I bought a shower curtain and it looks like dog shit because it's folded and it's got creases going across and up and down. Like, it looks like shit. Why you can't buy these things on a rolled up with no creases would be nice. I know shipping wise, you know, if you could I don't know, putting them on a roll would be, I think that would be better. I mean, over time, this shower curtain will probably straighten itself out. There's things that you can do. There's things I can't do because I don't have a dryer. You could throw it in a dryer for a little bit on a low setting and the wrinkles and the creases might work their way out. I'm just gonna have to see if they come out over time. It's function over form, but it's like, you know, it's like when you buy a product and it has a sticker on it and then you go and peel the sticker off and it leaves all this residue and shit on a brand new product, and then you have to use chemicals to get the sticker off and scratch at it and work on it, and you end up screwing up the product just to get the stupid sticker off. It's kind of like that kind of shit. Like, I understand they got to fold these things up to get them into a compact package so that they can sell them to you and fit more on the shipping container. But I don't know. Like, I would be willing to pay a couple bucks more to, holy shit, I wonder. No. No, hold on a second. I'm gonna be right back. This is Creativity 101 right here. Let's see, I've got a thing for photo shoots. Poof. Like that. Now, not that. That's not what I'm thinking of using. But like that. If I could get this, yeah, but I'd have to get that so close. Let me mess around here. What do I gotta do to make this work? It's got to be like right on me. But there we go. Right there. If I could figure out how to... Ooh, I've got tripods. All I need is like a clamp. The right crafty clamp. If I put this right by my desk, put this right in the right spot. Boom, I got a backdrop. It would work. I mean, it takes all that shit away from the background. It's a diffuser, so it's basically just it lets the light through. It's also got a white version. It's got a silver thing to reflect light, and then it's got this gold thing to reflect light. So I don't know if you've ever seen like photo shoots where You might be shooting a model with the sun behind the model, but then somebody standing in front of the model with this big ass thing like this with a reflector on it, reflecting light back so that the front of the model is lit up. That's what this shit's all for. And so, like, I have some of my gear. Like I said, you know, like, can I use something I already have here? And then this thing folds down like this, like that, and then it just goes into a bag, and then when you want to use it, boom, there you go, backdrop. I could do a Zoom meeting like this with just a white background. People would be like, where the hell are you? I could clip this thing, holy shit, I could clip this, I'm telling you, I could clamp this to the back of my chair. I could clamp this thing, I'm telling you, I could clamp this thing to the back of my chair and just position myself just right. 2 vice grip clamps, the blue ones. I used to have, I know I don't have any right now. Do I have something? If I just clamped this thing to the back of my chair, let me see if I can bend my body around to get this thing like this. I mean, this is so convenient. How do I do this? Right here to the chair, not quite. It's just quite not big enough. If it was just a little bigger, it would be so easy. But like, I don't know, let me do this again and mess around. That's kind of weird looking, but yeah, I mean, if it's right there, I mean, I can sit back farther and I can hit this zoom button and put that behind me a little more, but I'm still kind of like, I gotta be right in the thing for it to fill the screen. But that might actually work. Like that, for the type of videos I want to shoot, I could be off to the side or whatever, and I'm gonna mess around with this because it's free. So anyway, you just watched creativity in real time of just, this is how you come up with ideas when you're fucking around and trying to figure something out, and you know, you want to do something on the cheap. I mean, that would work. That would be fine for now. All I would really have to do, I've got 2 photography tripods, so I could just clamp it I could just have it, if I had the right clamps, I could just easily just set up 2 tripods side by side, tall enough to clamp this thing, circle behind me, and as long as it fills the frame of the camera, then I just sit in my chair and do my thing. That's super easy to pack. As soon as I'm done using it, the 2 tripod bags are this big that fold down that small. This thing, you saw the bag that I carried in. It's compact, it sits on a shelf. When I want to use it, it takes a minute to set up. I don't think I have any clamps that would, I don't think I have anything that would work to clamp it down, but nope, not those. I can't remember. Okay, so Irwin. Quick grip clamps. That's what I used to use. Now those are they got the big long ones, but they have these yeah, right there. No, those aren't the ones I want, but those would do the job. Multi-purpose. It would go in my toolbox. It would be useful to have. know I have clamps like that somewhere. Not here, though. Spring clamps. And get a pack of 12 spring clamps. Just spring clamps for $8. You get a pack of 2 for 8. Oh, okay. Why would I get a pack of 2 for $8 when a pack of 12 is $8? A pack of 4 is $9. What the fuck is the difference? 2-pack 8.5 inch, 4-pack 6 inch, 4 inch, 3.5 inch. Okay, that's why. I swear I have something like this already. I don't, this is the kind of thing that I know I could go to Home Depot tomorrow and pick something up on the way home. And I could get the electrical outlet tester to see if there's juice coming through those outlets. And then if there is, so what I did, I took the cover off of one yesterday and I plugged something into it and I wasn't getting any power. But that could just be a bad outlet. There could be power going to that receptacle, but the outlet itself could be bad. And they just covered it up with a panel with no hole. So if it comes down to there's juice coming through that line, I can just go get an outlet and an outlet cover and do, if both of them have power, I'll just replace them. Fuck it. I'll do it. Because then that will help me out with some things that I need to do on that wall. And right now I don't have any power. I don't have any outlets on that wall. And I would like to have them. Spring clamp. Of course these clamps they're junk compared to the ones on Amazon. Well, here we go. 4 in stock. A 22 piece. Okay, that's not bad. Think I got something here. I can use tripods that I already have, this thing that I already have, and I can get a pack of 22 spring clamps tomorrow at Home Depot. I feel like I already have some, but this is like my mind can't really sort out what I had at my house in Pennsylvania, what's in the storage in Pittsburgh, what actually made it down here. I haven't seen anything like this, or they would be in my toolbox or my tool bag over there if I did have them. But I can get 22 spring clamps of all different sizes for $10. 22 clamps, and they're in stock at the Home Depot down the street. And I can get an outlet tester at the Home Depot that, in my opinion, it looked better than the ones on Amazon. And that was like, from what I recall, it was $12. So for $22 tomorrow, I could get the clamps and that. And then I just have to figure out how to clamp this thing in place behind me and just have the right camera, right lens, right, the right focal length, and there we go. There's a backdrop. I could make it so that I do Zoom meetings. I can test this out right now while I'm sitting here talking to you. Zoom. I'm just gonna pop it up and see what it looks like in a Zoom meeting. If I do this, new meeting, or why not just hit new meeting, video. There we go, video. Yeah. Boy, I'd have to sit really close. This works pretty good right here. And I can mess around with the camera position, and I can kind of, this will work for some YouTube videos where I just want to have a plain background. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not as cool as having the fake bookshelf or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, it's something to play with. And for $10, I can get a bunch of spring clamps. They're going to be helpful. I'll throw them in my toolbox, my tool bags, whatever. I'll probably pick up an extra tool bag to help me sort it, because I'm starting to I need something like that. I don't know. I can make something work for a little bit of time. It's just, creativity. Just trying to come up with some ideas here. But yeah, you just watched me screw around trying to find a backdrop for YouTube videos for the last, what happens if I go like this, and I put this behind me, and I have that light on. That's too much light. All right, that's a little too, what happens if I go like that? No, okay. That looks better. What happens if I turn that on? It's a little bit harsh, but if you go like that, and you turn on this other light that's in here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's something. It's better than anything I can have. It's the best thing I have out of the box that's free, that I have right in front of me at all times. It's right here. Try it out. Spring clamps come in handy in many, many ways. And that's like a lifetime supply of freaking clamps right there for sure. I'm pretty sure I don't have any here. If I do, oh, where the fuck they are. But anyway, so there you go. Messing around with YouTube and trying to figure out, like, I don't know. This might work, it might not, might be stupid. I can mess around with the position of the camera more. I can get it kind of put here. I can put it right next to my MacBook and kind of overlap it with the screen a little bit. I wish I could get it just a little higher, like up here. I don't like the angle of this, but get it right there. It's not really in my way. I'd have to kind of make some adjustments before I sit and do a video, but I mean, I can mess around with, obviously where I'm gonna put my face and all that. Zoom in a little bit, like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'll figure it out. And that's not so bad. I mean, it's kind of weird. Honestly, it's kind of weird having like a plain white background like that. If I wanted to do a chroma key and actually put something fake behind me, that would actually make it a little easier, and it would, other than the whites of my eyes, it would I would be able to do a pretty good job of blue screening something out and putting a fake back. I would be able to do a better job with video tools. But I mean, this is like, I don't want to spend time with that either. So this is like this is the creative process. That's all it is. I'm just showing you how you think your way through these kind of problems and just come up with different ideas. And I don't know, something will happen. I don't know. But for now, this is what it is. I don't care. At the end of the day, it's chaos to come back. This is just another step, a baby step on the way back. And, I don't know, maybe when I do these updates, I don't think that's that bad, especially if I can just be, you know, but the positioning of this thing has to be pretty damn tight. It's just slightly too small. Right about there, if I can get it exactly in place. Boy, it's like it's just millimeters off. Oh, if it was only like 6 inches wider in diameter, I would be like, boom, done. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna put into that for now. Anyway, if that didn't bore you to tears watching me go through that process, then you know, you'll see another video. I'll do a better job making you go out of your mind later on down the road. But for now, I'm going to say peace out. We'll talk again.